Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to do another video series, and I know I got the elements going on right now, but I also want to start one in past lives. I want to start from the beginning of the physical realms that I understand, and I'm going to be going through past lives, my own past lives, and this should help everyone kind of give a feel of what past life readings are like, but also, more importantly, if you want to go down this journey yourself, it'll kind of give you an idea how to do that. I'm not sure what to expect in each journey, but my intention is to go to times and go to past lives that are important for other people to hear, as well as what's important on my journey and my understanding. So I'm just going to close my eyes and enter in the first journey on this series. I see a sheet of white light, and the best to describe it is I'm in space sort of thing, and there's a sheet of white light that goes straight across over my head and down into a spiral. And there's a lot of rumbling happening here. There's a lot of excitement in the way. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of stuff happening. And spirits are being asked to go into the spiral. It's like a vortex. But when you enter this vortex, you become your own strain, your own timeline. It's like you go in here, you're not coming back for a bit, but it could be literally seconds, but it's going to feel like it's a very, very, very big commitment. And not all spirits are willing to do this, but there is some that are. But this is not simply, is something different about this specific group. It's like their journey is different than some. It's almost like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's something different about this journey and this specific spiral. What's being asked of us is much different than what is being asked from others. And not very many people will want to go down this spiral. So I walk into the spiral. It's like when you stand so close to it, it's like pulls you in like a black hole. And you slowly get pulled into it. It's not all one great big instantaneous, you go in, you're pulled in slowly. To the point where you could say that you complete the spiral and your feet are still standing, waiting to go in. So it seems like your soul is connected to all this, the whole spiral from the beginning to end. That's important to understand, is that you are connected through all your past lives in this spiral. This is my own journey and my own understanding, and this is meant for me as well as for you. Because it's not just me that are wanting to say this to us, for people that are watching this video. That don't fool yourself to think that you can hide from all these lives and not pay attention to them. Because they're all connected. And it seems like in order to fully be released through this spiral, you have to be willing to accept all these lifetimes in some form or another. It doesn't mean you have to remember them, but you have to be able to embrace them for what they are, even if they're some of the most horrific lifetimes you ever could imagine, or some of the most beautiful. When you finally are able to accept that, your feet finally go into the spiral, and then it's complete almost like within a split second. But it's the time frame that seems to take so long. It's not like time is the same. Like you could go in one, you go into the spiral, you come out different. You come out completely different on the other end. It's like in the physical reality is so much different than the spiritual, like the spiritual reality. It's like time flicks by very shortly, but it's like ridiculous amount of lifetimes were just lived instantaneously. But you come out completely different. You don't even, your vibration is different. You look different. You are not the same anymore. That is very evident. And when we first go into the spiral, I'm standing in front of it and I'm looking down into it, and I'm very bright. I have very large wings, and it's almost like my wings are covering this whole vortex, and I feel very anxious. And and you could say above us is a massive vortex that opens up into heaven, so it seems that way. And there's a whole lot of angels and spirits and God himself looking down upon this event. This is a big event. And I look over and I see other beings standing over their vortexes, looking down into them. And we all fall in together. We all literally choose to go in this spiral. And it's like being pulled in. It's like once you're in, you can't, you're not going to just be able to walk out. You got to, it's commitment. And I'm pulled in, and it's kind of like, I get pulled in and I hit the ground really hard. And when I hit the ground, it's like my whole essence is split. It's like I almost get cut in half in a way. And a part of my soul goes into the ground, like a part of my physical body in a way, goes into the earth, and the other one falls to the left. My right side goes into the earth and comes out farther away from me. And this other part looks up, and I'm looking at myself, but it's very distinctive. I see myself as almost like light and dark, and my dark side just looks at me one more time and takes off. And I'm confused because it's like confusing, because it's like I didn't even know that existed in myself until that moment. But was that actually the spiral coming down? It almost like it changed the energy within myself. So when I hit the ground, it was very, very confusing. They want me to focus on the light side of myself because my dark side leaves. And it's when we fell, like, it's interesting because you hear a lot of falling angels. In a way that we were angels, but we're not really angels. There was more to it than that. But this isn't fallen angels. This is angels that choose to come to earth to help. It helped teach the human race. And this is very important, that the human race were already here. They were confused and lost and were asking for help, so we're sent down to help. But in doing so, there was agreement of a very difficult learning that takes place because of this. And even the human beings chose this learning, but we also did ourselves. So I'm standing here, and it's like literally, I guess, got tore in two, and my left wing basically burns off in a way. It's not even there. It didn't burn off at all. It's the wrong term. It just isn't there anymore. And I'm a human being, but I'm full of light. Like I'm glowing in a way. It's like my skin is physically there, and I'm a physical being, but I'm not what you would say human yet. It's like my skin is kind of shiny and pure white, but it's like I'm still a physical being. I can still touch the ground, and that's what I'm doing. I'm touching the ground. It's like there's something very amazing. It's like a child being born adult, and you're touching the earth, and you're touching the ground for the first time. It's different because you can feel it's like you can feel the heartbeat within yourself for the first time. And I even cut my hand, but it's not red yet. My blood is more like a whitish gold in color, and I feel like so different. I start to run, and I don't feel like the ground, like it's like running, but it's so easy, I guess is the best way to describe it. And I'm running really, really, really fast, like what I would say would be 3 or 4 times faster than a normal human being. And I'm able to jump really, really, really far. It's almost like being on the moon, you know? It's what it's like. And I'm standing there looking at this. There's a city in front of me, and I'm on a ridge. And it's like there's other beings that are I know there's other beings on this area, and they're very similar to me, but they're all different. And there's a gathering in the town or city below. It's not huge, but it's not small either. And there's a big central square, and I go down into that, and there is a meeting, and I'm staying on I don't actually go right down into the thing. I stay more above, looking down, and I notice there's other versions of souls that are doing the same thing. And there's a person talking in the square, and we're kind of standing, and there's this person points up at us, and we walk down. It's like we just jump off the building, and it's like 20, 30 feet down, and it's like jumping off a 1 foot. It's like it's not even an effort. And we have an energy about us that is different. And I'm able to read everyone's mind with just my thoughts. But these people are scared. They're confused. I actually touch all their minds, as well as other beings like me come here, and we touch the humans and their minds. I'm looking at, so as we touch each of the minds, we give them knowledge, and the fear kind of subsides a bit. Time goes on, and we are here to teach, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're teaching them how to survive, what to eat. It seems like we have knowledge that these humans or beings or whatever you want to call them don't have. And we're speaking to them through our minds, and they are learning slowly, but there's something wrong. Like there's something here. Like the dark parts of ourselves are here, and they have already been to other places, and they are here, and I can feel them. And we have a sense of knowing where our other parts are. And we teach these people amazing things like art, music, just love and understanding. But we don't want to teach them war, but there's something very wrong here. And we know it, we sense it. So we each keep an eye on this village and just smoke off in the distance. There's a line of, you could say that many, many, many years went by. I'm not even sure how many, because time, I don't seem to age at all here. Even the people that are in this village don't seem to age the same way we do. But a lot of time has gone by here. And there's a huge army that's now on the outskirts of this place. So we go, there's I don't know how many, there's like a row of, okay, say a few hundred of us that are glowing white, and we're standing in this, basically, and it's not really, it's like a hilly area, and we're blocking this village, and there's like, I don't know, thousands upon thousands of these. It's not just as human beings here, there's weird creatures that are being formed. These demons, you could say, the dark parts of ourselves have raped and pillaged, and now there's all these twisted versions of different creatures here. And we stand we actually start to glow really, really, really bright, and we start to lift off the ground. And we send out this vibration of light, is the best way to describe it, and it blinds everybody, all the dark energies. But they still run forward. I actually look up towards the sky. We all do, as we glow really bright. And there's like a lightning that comes down and strikes all of us in the heart. And we fall to the ground. And we stand back up as this army is approaching. It's like we understand, and we create this wall in front of us, and it goes right around the whole city, and it creates like this dome all around this whole city, and these beings crash into it and smack and try to get through it. We do this to as many cities as we can, and it creates these domes and understanding, and we're teaching these people many things, and these twisted versions of ourselves are creating more and more havoc. So it's kind of like we have all these light patches that we're able to travel to. We kind of just phase in from one place to another, like teleporting, really. And we managed to do this to, say, 100 cities, and there's like 200 or 300 cities that have fallen towards these chaotic beings. And we don't allow this darkness to come into these cities. Instead, we teach these people everything we know. We know that we have to teach them how to defend themselves. So we start teaching them our ways. And some of us choose to, we fall in love with these beings, like, because we're very much like them, but we're different, because the human beings in this time, we're also human in a way, but we're closer to heaven, so to speak. We're closer to light than because these humans were here longer, and we came later to teach them. But there's something about us that have abilities that they do not have. But we're also able to pass some of these abilities on and teach them. But when we fall in love with one of them and have children, it creates a different energy that is quieter than my own. And like these humans are quieter than my energy. And so quieter is the term. It's not as, like I'm lighter. I'm vibrating at a different frequency. It's like I'm slightly at a phase, so to speak, and the human beings are in phase. So I'm just slightly out, even though I'm mostly in. It's like being phased in at about 60%, and the humans are phased in, or phased out, or whatever, by 20%. So I'm at 60%, and these humans are at 20%. And the children are about 40%. So they're like somewhere in between. There's so much chaos outside and so much stuff going on, but it's important here because there's going to be a time when we release these, and these light beings go into the world. So that's what they do. We teach them everything we know, and then the gates open, and there's a huge war that happens, but it creates a balance. And I'm telling you, a very, very long period of time goes by before these gates open. And when they do, there's a huge battle that happens, but it brings balance to the physical realms. It brings a time of magic, so to speak, a time where human beings and other beings lived in harmony and also in chaos. So it's like a fantasy realm in a way. Well, people lived a very, very long time. And it's almost like we grow old very, very slowly, and our children grow old a little bit quicker, and humans grow old a lot faster. And as time goes by, and generation after generation after generation, the human beings, it's like we disappear. We eventually die. What we would think of ourselves as these type of beings will die off or move on. And what's left is a children that eventually, over time, everything slows down. Everything comes slower and slower and slower. And the human race becomes slower and slower and slower, and it's still going on till today. That we're moving farther and farther away from the spiritual realms in a way. We become slower and slower and slower. Like, if you took myself, I could run for days and days and days and not even drop a sweat. And my children could do the same thing. And even the humans at that time could do the same thing. But over time, the energy changes and shifts, and we become more and more physical. We become more and more connected to the physical world. And the energies of the spirit world become quieter and quieter and quieter. Until we're done with the spiral. But at this stage, we are completing the spiral. And we have to accept all these lifetimes. This is just a prelude to what is to come. Because when the world became balanced, it was quite interesting. The human beings grew stronger and stronger and stronger. And when the teachers left and the children were left, there was still peace, but there was what's the best way to describe it, as a time of change, a time of chaos, that it was coming, a shadow of chaos that was becoming stronger and stronger and louder and louder. But this was meant to be, it was foretold. This was part of the plan. This is what is being shown to me at this time. And right now, the human race, because everybody is human now, no matter what we came from, we're all human beings, because we've all been mixed from everything. And now we're at our slowest we've ever been. This is what they're saying. Our vibration is closer to the physical world than it ever has been in history. in all this long time that goes by, all this history that's being brought forward. And this is all very metaphorical, but it's like literally when the teachers came, they were at a different level than we are now. They were vibrating in a different way. They were a phase closer, more so in the spiritual than in the physical. And now we're more physical. We're like, I guess what I'm asking to the realm right now is what percentage would we be? And it's like 0.5%, for instance. And that's the people that what we would call enlightened. That's how far away we are from the spirit realm. But that is shifting and changing. And we're coming out of the spirals, and when that happens, there's a really fast shift that occurs. And instantly it's over. All these ridiculous amount of lifetimes that we have lived are over within a minute, a second. Like it's really fast. But it isn't. So much time has gone by, so much suffering, so much love, so much learning that has occurred. So no matter who you think you are, it doesn't matter, because we're all a mix of everything that's ever lived, in a way, because the human race is much older than people realize, and there's so much interbreeding, so to speak, that we've bred from. We're part demon, we're part angel, we're part of all these races that were on this earth. There was a magical realm that existed here. There was a great change, a great chaos that came, and all the magic left. And that's when we shifted more and more and more into a denser reality. And the magic had to leave, because the magic was closer to spirit. It was closer to... It was too close for us to be able to go down into the darkness that we had to. We had to become more physical in order to learn. And there's also light that followed us. The chaos and the war that occurred was nothing like the earth has ever seen, though. And almost everything on earth was destroyed that was sentient, that was alive. Very few people lived. They all left to the spirit realm and then came back again into a more physical, denser reality. And we're at our densest part now. They keep saying that. So this wasn't really much of a past life reading so much as a history lesson, I guess. A different perspective and understanding about energies. Because this is all about energy. It's all about how we once were so much closer to spirit and could do amazing things. Like walk, we could jump, we could fly, we could do amazing things. And then it became denser and denser and denser and denser. And we kept losing, and we used to live for ridiculously long periods of time. It's amazing so if we're closer to Even if we're 5% into the spirit realm, it would blow our minds what we could do. Being 60% is like being a god in a way that it would just be like one of the most powerful superheroes that ever existed. Because things were different. Even gravity was different because it never really affected us the same way. We never even really had to eat much. It's like you had to eat once a week if you're lucky. So the more denser we become, the more we need to eat. The more food we need to eat. And the quieter the spirit realm becomes. So this is how they want me to start share this with you. And it'll be interesting to see what comes next. That was like an introduction, so to speak, to this new series that I'm going to do now. Thank you, everyone. If you wish to do a journey with me, you can visit my website at amonrosawakening.com. Or if you wish to look at my northern lights, you can go to hiddenauroraspirits.com or Joseph Barely Auroras. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night. Take care.